Today we are celebrating agriculture education in line with online learning or e-learning. We are speaking of defying geographical boundaries when it comes to acquiring knowledge in the agricultural fraternity. Thank you, Zimbabwe, for tuning into yet another informative edition of our program. You are watching Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness in support of Vision 2030, where we are speaking of leaving no one and no place behind. We are speaking of inclusivity, and one way do that is take advantage of the internet. We are speaking of information technology to accommodate each and every one of us, be it in the diaspora or some of us who are not even Zimbabwean nationals but are seeking to have knowledge in terms of agriculture. Stay tuned. At this point in time, I've taken the liberty of inviting the principal of Zimbabwe Agricultural College, the principal, who is Mrs. Nyaruwata. Mrs. Nyaruwata, thank you so much for taking your time to come onto our platform.
Thank you, Wadzaya. Welcome.
I understand that this institution is based on e-learning, or some might want to refer to it as online learning. Could you maybe talk to us in terms of what brought it into being? What could have motivated or inspired it to come into being?
What have brought this college up is that we really see the agricultural blueprints in Zimbabwe. You actually see that we have got farmers, the A1 farmers and the A2 farmers out there, and we realized the background comes from the issue of the COVID-19, when we actually see that people were not able to go to physical colleges to learn because of the pandemic disease. So we come up with this idea of the Zimbabwe Online Agricultural College, whereby farmers learn online, and it was also an advantage because we really see that farmers are busy with farm activities during the day, and we really need that we have got some agro executives who does not have agricultural knowledge, but it is of significance in their workplaces, and they are busy at their workplaces, so they can learn in the comfort of their workplace. They can learn in comfort of their farms.
How did you ensure that there was effectiveness and efficiency in delivering your lectures?
We tailor-made the model to the clientele need. What we really see that we really see that the farmer does not have time to come to school. The farmer does not. If you call him for practicals on a physical college, he don't come. So what we did, we come up with a model whereby we use the ICT tool. We use the links. Farmers demonstrate on their farms, taking themselves videos and send them to their subject specialists, and also the subject specialists also, when they want to taught a concept, they also take a video and send to the e-learning platform, and then the student will play it, and then he will practice it on the farm.
In terms of inclusivity,
yes,
there are people who are outside Zimbabwe, Zimbabweans in the diaspora, who are looking to acquire agricultural knowledge.
That this is very practical, because the e-learning platform does not have geographical boundaries. Last semester, we got some students who are writing exams in Iraq, and currently today, some students have graduated. They were in Canada, somewhere in China. So it's very that we don't have any geographical boundaries, because the internet is everywhere. So we are connected everywhere. We don't have physical barriers.
Let us talk about who is suitable to be a student of the online college.
Everyone is suitable. As long as he's a mature person, he's suitable. I can say from 16 years, and also even after above 70, because we come up with a model so that we have to be very patient with these adult people. We have to be very listening, because some of them, they are, you know that in terms of age, people are very forgetful. So they only inquire every time. So we trained our teaching staff to be very patient to them.
Now, at this point in time, I've taken the liberty of inviting one of the students who actually went away home, walked away with a number of prizes for being outstanding in her studies. I am joined by Jessina Dandire. Welcome to our platform.
Yes, thank you, Wadza. It's an honor to be here.
Yes, as we get into our discussion, Jessina, I want us to look at the virtual farm tours. It looks like something that is very exciting, and at the same time, it's new for people to be having farm tours online, to be having videos and look at them as a class while someone is in Mount Darwin or in Kariba, but you were learning together, being connected by the internet. Can you talk to us about the virtual farm tours, maybe some of it which were of interest to you, the advantages that come with a virtual farm tour, maybe starting by describing what is a virtual farm tour?
A virtual farm tour is where you see the farm virtually, like online, and then you can see the practical thing, even though you are in the comfort of your home, but you can see the whole farm setup. You can see everything that happens on the farm. It doesn't really consider the geographical location. Wherever you are, you in the comfort of your home, you can still be enjoying.
Now, Justina, as we close, you are the reigning champion. You are walking away with a number of prizes, including this floating trophy. How does it make you feel in a class where you had indeed males, you also had females of various ages, some as young as 16, some as old as 75, some were in the New Zealand or in Iraq where there is technological advancements. You are here in Zimbabwe, you're a farmer, but you've managed to scoop a number of prizes. How is it making you feel as we close this segment?
Thank you, Adza. This was a surprise. As I heard my name being mentioned, I didn't expect it. I'm so honored to have scooped all these prizes. But what I can say is, for you to achieve something like this, you really need to work hard. I worked hard. I was dedicated to this course. I put all my effort there, and this is the achievement that I got.
Yes.
I just want to thank my Lord up there, and I want to thank everyone who supported me along the way, including my mother and my husband and my family. I thank you so much, and the team from the class that I worked with. Yeah, it was a good team. We enjoyed.
Yes, thank you so much, Justina, for taking your time to come onto our platform. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you, Adza.
Thank you, farmers and aspiring farmers, for staying tuned to Agricultural New Directions Agribusiness in support of Vision 2030. Now, viewers, we encourage you to be a part of these conversations. Feel free to get in touch with the producer, Wadzanai Manyore, so 0772-807-506. Alternatively, you can like our Facebook page, Agribusiness with Wadzanai. Make a follow-up on this episode and more, and leave your comments and suggestions. They are most welcome to us. Our YouTube channel is Agribusiness with Wadzanai. We're also now available on X, formerly known as Twitter. It's at Agribusiness 110. We have a very thriving community on LinkedIn. It's at Wadzanai Manyore. At this point in time, I've taken the liberty of inviting one of the students who have recently graduated today with their accolade, Doreen Masiani. Says she is also a farmer in Beatrice who's undertaking various agricultural enterprises as a farmer. Doreen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Wadza. It's my pleasure.
Yes. Off camera, we're just discussing from the last time I visited your farm earlier this year. You spoke of expansion. You spoke of maybe elevating your operations. Can you take us through the operations that you have improved, maybe increase in size of your greenhouses? Talk to us in line with the knowledge that you've been acquiring. Is it what led you to expansion and elevating your enterprises?
Thank you, Wadza. Yes, the last time you came to our farm, we were operating on 2,100 square meters under greenhouse. And as we continued with the online education, yes, I felt inspired. I felt the push that if Nika is going to be built never, this program that we are going through at ZOAG, we must do something that shows that we are really benefiting from this program. So we have expanded. We are now operating under 7,000 square meters of greenhouses. Yes, that's really huge. We are continuing in horticulture. We are focusing mainly on tomatoes. I'd like to be known as the tomato lady. Yes. So the hope is to expand more, but this year we have added 3 more greenhouses with a total of 5,000 square meters.
Thank you so much, Doreen. I understand that as you were talking, we have our audience who are taking notes and also getting inspired. From the last time that I saw you, we had a program for TV, and today you're saying that you've even enlarged your space. As we close our discussion, Doreen, how are you feeling as a graduate? You are now an agricultural graduate who's going to be participating in the agricultural fraternity along the value chain. You want to be referred to as a tomato lady. You are concentrating on production when it comes to the value chain. Just your feeling, your sentiments, your recommendations to those who might be watching and also wanting to partake in agriculture as producers.
Thank you, Wadza. Today, as I'm graduating, I'm elated. but most importantly, I am humbled and I am challenged. I'd like to continue growing further, and I really would like to be someone who is notable in the value chain, as you mentioned. We are now in the festive season where we would like to take part and be recognized for different types of tomatoes, for different types of customers during this festive season. So I'm really excited, but I'd like to take my gown and put it under the pillow, as the minister has said, and get to action right now, because we are at a peak season where what we produce is required. But I'm really humble and I'm really thankful for just to be able to get to that success level in agriculture and hopefully make a difference in the food industry in our nation someday.
Thank you so much, Doreen. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you.
At this point in time, I've taken the liberty of inviting Mr. Tobias Moyo. He is also a board member of Zimbabwe Agricultural College. Mr. Moyo, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Wadza, for having me. Thank you, viewers.
Could you maybe introduce yourself to our audience at home? I understand that you are partaking in issues surrounding online learning in agriculture.
Thank you, Wadza. As you alluded to in the first instance, my name is Tobias Moyo. I am the head marketing and business development at Zimbabwe Academic Research Network, which is ZANET, a grant-funded institution under Ministry of Information, Communication, Technology, Postal and Courier Services. And ZANET has got a mandate. The mandate of ZANET is to provide affordable connectivity to the academic, research and education fraternity.
Okay.
As one of our milestones in achieving this mandate, we have created a platform that is Zimbabwe Agricultural College leverages on, and this is the one that has churned out its first graduates today. So in a nutshell, that is who we are as ZANET.
Okay. Your plans of enhancing this institution, whereby we are saying that you are including students from faraway nations, some who are not even Zimbabweans, some Zimbabweans who are in the diaspora. I understand that today on this graduation ceremony, we have some students graduating as far as China, some in Iraq, they were graduating online. So what are the plans that you have in place to enhance this institution of agriculture education online or e-learning in agriculture?
Thank you, Wadza. As you know that we are living in the fourth evolution, where ICTs are no longer a luxury, but they are part and parcel of our lives. And if we are going to look at the globalization, or the global village has been made accessible by internet. And internet for us now is the in thing, because you will no longer look at the four walls to have a class. But you are saying with your gadget, you can do fantastic things,
yes,
marvelous things. This is how we have, as ZANET, we are saying now, there are no new technologies which are coming on board. We also have our engineers as ZANET family who are working on accepting and adapting to these new technologies. You have learned about the 5G launch by our sister company. They've done that. These are now high speeds technologies that are being brought into Zimbabwe to ensure that teaching and learning becomes easy on ICTs, because they can afford to roll out these solutions to tertiary institutions, including the Zimbabwe Agricultural College and other colleges. So our plans are laid down that we are going to move with technology as it evolves each and every time. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moyo, for taking your time to come on to our platform. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
The pleasure is mine.
At this point in time, I've taken the liberty of inviting Wellington. He is a graduate who has recently acquired their certificate through online learning, or some might want to refer to it as e-learning. Wellington, thank you so much for joining us today.
You are welcome.
As we get into our discussion,
yes,
the name of the accolade or the qualification, what do we call it? What is it referred to as?
It's called an executive farm management certificate.
Yes.
Yeah.
What could have motivated or inspired you to undertake studies in agriculture?
What inspired me was to equip myself
Finally, as we close this brief discussion, Wellington, how does one assert themselves or position themselves to undertake these studies? I understand that it's learning with adults, but at the same time, you also have students as young as 16. How do you position yourself to be in a position to say, I'm now a student who is learning online rather than attending physical lectures?
It needs dedication from yourself and commitment to achieve something that you need.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Wellington, for
You're
coming
welcome.
onto our platform. It was a pleasure having us.
Thank you for inviting me.
There you had it, viewers. We have various stakeholders who are participating when it comes to the online institution that has been established and availed to Zimbabweans or even foreign nationals who are seeking to acquire knowledge in agriculture. Stay tuned. As we get into this discussion, you'd find that there might be a bit of resistance or a bit of astonishment where people are appalled. They are used to having agriculture lessons physically, whereby they to the farms, they milk cattle, but here you are bringing in education via the internet through e-learning, online education. What could have inspired your department to come up with such a concept?
Thank you, Waza. Let me say good afternoon, and I'm happy to meet you once again.
Yes.
Yes, you see, change is inevitable. These new technologies of learning and even sharing information are coming on board. And it's not agriculture education only per se.
Yes.
We have got technocrats in terms of designing these applications, programs, and also setting infrastructure. So what we did, we had a very good example of the COVID era.
Yes.
We closed down physical courses, but we were challenged to think of other ways, modes to continue teaching our students. So after the year, we thought, let's establish a college where this should continue.
Yes.
As we were recruiting, as we were advertising, as we were marketing, we were not doing it alone. We were doing it with different partners and colleagues who could send that signal that yes, it can be done. So those people who were aspiring to be students, they tried it and see it happening and see it being possible. So that group, or the first group which enrolled, they managed to share as well with other colleagues, and now a lot of people have cleared that difficult moment they think is attached to e-learning. So it has motivated even ourselves. We were born after that, we were born earlier than this era of technology. But through those partners, let me just mention of Zanet. These people, they have the technology, they have the expertise of teaching even us old people. They know how to encourage us, they know how to give us the desire to be into it. So we also went into it and see it happening. That's why we now work as a group in trying to net various people to come and get on board in terms of e-learning. So it's a wholesome approach to make it easier.
Now, Dr. Dulofema, as we close this brief discussion, there are people that might be resisting or a bit maybe taken aback by the concept of learning about agriculture online, to be learning about weeds or weeding or chemical application online without having a knapsack behind your back. Your word of advice to the people who might be watching from home in terms of demystifying that misconception. It is now possible. We are talking of leaving no place and no one behind in agriculture. Talk to us in terms of maybe your sentiments, your views, just encouraging people to have an uptake of e-learning when it comes to agricultural education.
I encourage people to do it. I encourage them to be part of it. I encourage them to participate so that they can actually have a feel. And they also encourage others. When you just hear of it, you think of a monster.
Yes.
But it can be done.
Okay.
That's what I can only say, Waza.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dondofema, for taking your time and come onto our platform and educate our audience at home in terms of e-learning when it comes to agricultural knowledge acquisition. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you, Waza. I also encourage you to enroll with Zach.
At this point in meantime, I've taken the liberty of inviting Stan Mautsa. He is a farmer coming from a strong IT background. Stan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Wadza.
Yes, in this discussion, I understand that you have a strong IT background. Let us talk about the digital drive to enhance farm activities which lead to productivity. As a farmer who's attached to an IT background, let us have a brief discussion on the digital drive in line with farming activities.
Okay, thank you very much. Most of the stuff that we'd learned in parts of our history, most of the information that we got, or the stuff that we had known from my IT background, was rather theoretical. Mm-hmm. We knew how this could be applied in farming. For instance, you know, like you've got your drones and how you can actually measure performance. Mm-hmm. So in terms, when we actually started, I had a little, quite small knowledge in terms of actually agriculture. But now with the program that we've actually successfully graduated from, you've actually learned to cover that gap of your skill in terms of farming and effectively actually apply the digital aspects or the digital tools that you actually have. In terms of the training, we actually were able to train in situ. They offered us some practical modules where you could actually go to your farm and actually do your practical, send the videos through, get assessment and feedback from the college itself.
Yes, as we close this episode, Stan, we've been doing shifting cultivation, chitemene, we've been growing crops since time immemorial without education. But here you are from another industry, participating or looking for knowledge in terms of agriculture. Can you talk to our audience there at home who might be having that misconception, as well as aligning your thoughts and sentiments in view of that moment where you had an epiphany and said, you know what, if I had not undertaken this course, talk to us in terms of, one, our audience at home. Secondly, the moment you had a revelation of maybe the importance of undertaking agricultural studies.
Most of the people, the knowledge that they have in agriculture in terms of actually how to do this is from our upbringing. Mm-hmm. But when we actually want to elevate this game to another level, you need the correct amount of knowledge to actually be able to do this thing. A lot of people are very eager to go onto the land and actually conduct and actually try and make money from it. So a lot of the gaps that are there, one of the biggest gaps that is there is knowledge. Mm-hmm. Definitely. So with this program, you were able to get that link, and a lot of the guys who you find who are new farmers and everything, a lot of the knowledge that we get is from people, from other people who are in the game. But then that knowledge that they have is also based upon mostly in their experiences and everything. But when it comes to you getting a formal knowledge, you actually know the right thing to do, and you can actually select the type of knowledge that you want from people and apply this thing in your own circumstances to ensure your own success. Quite a various amount of the subjects that we did. We did our livestock. We were able to go in and actually demonstrate to our lecturers that you could actually vaccinate a cow or actually dose a cow. And then we also had how to control weeds. All these, we submitted them. They were quite helpful in the sense that you have the person who actually knows with the correct knowledge on how to identify your weeds and everything. So that was quite a revelation in terms of especially giving the skill, the knowledge, and more importantly also how to make it an enterprise as well. It was not just about the chemicals and how to grow things, but especially about how to make this an enterprise and a successful business.
Thank you so much, Stan. I like that you alluded to the fact that it was not just practical lessons, but also undertaking agriculture as a formidable business. Yes. It was a pleasure having you with us today. Thank you for coming onto our platform.
Thank you very much, Rata.
I'm your host with the name Manyura. I'm also on Instagram. It's at Wadzi110, and the crew behind the scenes. Have yourselves a fabulous evening. Thank you for watching.